Hey, what's up? I'm Chris with Heavy Heads Records. You are tuned in to the Heavy Heads Records podcast. This is a podcast where I talk about all kinds of different stuff. I am never at a shortage for words, so I'm trying to find the place where I can put it all. Hopefully you'll listen. Hopefully I'll get an audience, whatever. I'll get it out of me. That's a huge reason I'm doing this. So, of course, anybody who is doing this has to have some kind of an ego to say that what I have to say is important enough for you to take time out of your day to listen to it. So I have done a little preparation for you in hopes that I can take over what's going on in between your ears for just a little bit, and just kind of give you a break from what's going on in between your ears too. So that's what this is about for me too. So anyway, glad you're here. I'm glad you're checking it out. And today I'm going to be talking about a few subjects near and dear to my heart. The first one's going to be VHS tapes. I've been on a VHS kick recently. I want to talk about it. I want to tell you about it, what I've been going through when it comes to VHS. One of the coolest formats to view film, movies, TV, whatever, video, to view video with. Love it. I got a coupon code embedded in this episode. I'm going to be talking about some comedy, and I've got a coupon code embedded that will give you $5 off a comedy show that's going on October 18th. That's going to be at the historic morgue in Ozark. I thought a comedy show at a morgue would be hilarious. Just the idea itself has been going around in my brain for a long time, and I thought, hey man, why not pull the trigger on it? So I'll be talking about that too. Like I said, there'll be a coupon code for $5 off a ticket. Tickets are only $20 anyway, but you'll get yours for $15 if you use that code. So that's cool. While you're here, I got to do a couple shameless plugs. Sorry about that. Just trying to keep things going, keep the lights on. First of all, I've got an app for Heavy Heads Records. You can find it in the Apple Store. You can find it in the Google Play Store and order through there. I'm always working on stuff, trying to get things more organized as far as the web presence goes. So bear with me. It's fairly easy to use, especially when it comes to what I'm putting on there. New product, new arrivals. That's what I'm trying to say. Also, really quick, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Check out the Heavy Heads Records Instagram. That's Heavy Heads Records 417. And also my personal Instagram, if you choose to, if you want to check that out. It is at DJ Valence. And that's because, for people who don't know, I am a DJ, turntablist, had a pretty long career with it. I still do it on occasion. I'm real focused on other stuff, but I still love DJing, still love the turntables, and still love rocking a party when I can. So yeah, that's, you can find some content there. Let's get into VHS tapes, shall we? So one of the first things about VHS tapes that I think I need to talk about is the fact that I am old. That has nothing to do with the tapes themselves, of course, but that has to do with why I know so much about them. And, I lived through it. I lived through VHS tapes, that era. So that was my way of collecting movies when I was younger. That was my way of experiencing new movies. That was my way of experiencing older movies and just kind of going through cinema and learning. We had a little video store in Willard, Missouri, where I grew up. It was called R&R Video, and that's where I it was pretty big actually for the small town. We had Mike's Video Bug too. I can't forget about them. And then we even had a place called Movie Mania later on. So R&R, I think, was probably my favorite over the years. They did it well. They did it well. They had a huge selection, and I was able to watch a lot of things and learn about a lot of things, by going there. And funny old guy story here, but I used to ride my bike to go rent movies at R&R, go rent VHS tapes, and of course 8-bit Nintendo games. They had a great selection of those up there too, so I had to get those, and it was a thing. We talk about VHS tapes, and we're going to get into that. Let me just say, think about that for a minute. Now we have the luxury of being able to sit on our couch and pay $3, $4 to rent anything we want. Back in my day, I had to ride my bike 2 miles to, and pay money to rent a video game or a movie, But what else did I get out of that experience? That's a question that I think is important to answer. Who did I see on the way? Who did I see at the video store? Man, remember going to a video store, flipping over, looking at the back, trying to make a decision based on the movie, getting home, or even realizing you rented a really crappy movie. That was still an experience, but we stuck it, the difference is, I think back then we stuck through it because that's all we had. So I know for me, I rented that movie, and it was either finish this movie or go back to doing the boring stuff you were doing before you went out to go get this movie. So, it was an experience. VHS is an experience. That's just getting the VHS tape, or how we used to get it. When I look at these tapes, it's just so great to see all these old titles. And, of course, I'm a vinyl guy. A lot of people know me through vinyl. And, I love my vinyl. Don't get me wrong. It's just when you do this for so long, you want to kind of, I've always dreamed of expanding and getting into other, media formats and things like that. So I love film. I love vinyl. I love all forms of media. It's my life. So, VHS is endearing. I love the art. I love being able to hold it. It's real time. All you got to do is just put it in. There's no latency. There's no lag time. You just stick the thing in and push play, and it's there. It doesn't even take your data. And you get to keep it. I think it's a joke I'm working on. I don't think it's that funny. But anyway, my point is that when you're, checking out a VHS, it's just real simple. Life used to be simple. They take up a little bit of space. That's true. But, just like the joke actually, okay, I remember now. It was about AI. Your VCR is incorporated. It's got AI. When the movie's over, it turns off, or it ejects the movie, or whatever. It's just such a simple process. You put it in, it plays, and you're done. You can even fast forward. So, what's old is new again. Maybe less is more. And one of the big reasons I started getting back into physical media is because I am getting old, and I found myself really wanting to say, watch a movie, a certain title, and I'd get done with my day. I'd lay down in bed for the night. I would hang out and rent a movie off Amazon for $3, $4, whatever. I don't know how much they are now, but I rent the movie, and you got 48 hours to watch it. Okay, kind of like renting a movie back in the day. It never fails. The first night, maybe I'll pass out watching the movie. Something will come up, whatever. The next night, I'm busy. I got something else going on. And by the end of it, I've paid $4 and I don't even get to watch the movie. I watch 30 minutes of it and I'm right back where I started, and I don't own it. So I got to pay another $4. I'm by the time I watch this movie, I'm probably like, $20 into this thing. So why not go find a DVD or a VHS on a shelf, for the same amount of money or maybe a little bit more if it's a title I really love, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. I get to keep it. And I got that thing we used to have back in the day called pride in ownership. Being able to show somebody, hey, look at my collection. Sharing that nostalgia with somebody else is pretty cool. I know that when people show me their collections and pieces that I don't have, there's always that level of nostalgia for me. There's always that level of, man, I wish I had that. I want to get that. Or just the appreciation for seeing whatever piece it is right in front of me. So there's definitely a lot to be said for physical media. And, contrary to what you might believe, I'm not just saying this because this is my business. Of course, I'm on here. I'm talking about what I love. I'm going to ask you to check out my website. I'm going to do all that stuff because, like I said before, I got to keep the lights on. But when it comes down to it, these are my thoughts regardless of how I make my living. These were my thoughts before I ever made a living doing any kind of stuff like this. So, in fact, my living is just an amped up version, essentially, of who I've always been. So, let me take just a real quick second, having just said that, to let you know that I'm eternally grateful for that. And I'll say this too, for the people out there that just see it surface level, I want you to know that I've worked extremely hard, to do what I do and to get where we've gotten. Another thing I know, or that I want to impart and tell everybody too, is that, regardless of what you may think, I want success for you. There's a lot of talented people here in town that are doing things, independent things. And I'm not going to name any names because Springfield, Missouri is a real small town. But I see you. You are seen. And, you're doing cool stuff. Keep it up. I want people to succeed in this town, and I want people to build culture and cultures. And I'll talk about that as we get into comedy, which, now's a great time, I think, to get into that. I could probably talk a lot longer on VHS tapes and why I love them, and there's probably more to say. But you know what? I'm not bound to anything on this podcast, so whatever. Let's just move on. So we talked about VHS tapes a little bit. I'm going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, especially as of late, comedy. And a lot of you know me through DJ. A lot of you know me through music. A lot of you probably think I suck at comedy. And I'm here to tell you, you're right. Sometimes I really suck at comedy, but other times I'm good at it. And there's a lot of reasons for that. So let's talk about it. I've got some notes here in front of me. Before I get into that, I do want to say that there is going to be a comedy show. I am producing a comedy show. I'm using some old DJ skills to network people and put some things together. The show's going to be in Ozark at the Haunted Morgue. And here's the coupon code for those tickets if you want $5 off. The coupon code is going to be, let me look it up real quick. I'm super organized right now. I had it. Here it is. PodScare. PODSCARE gets you $5 off of your tickets for the comedy show, October 18th in Ozark, Missouri. More details on the event tab on heavyheadsrecords.com. I'm going to leave that link down in the description for you so you can get to it easily. I'll go ahead and talk about the comics that are on the show. I think that's going to be important. So why not talk about that comic or the comics? I do want to say too, we have sold a few tickets for this show. We've got about over a month left, and we've sold a few tickets, and we're going to sell more. So I'm not trying to push FOMO on you, but I'm trying. And I'm talking to people and I'm selling tickets. So also the 15% off, or I'm sorry, the $5 off, I can only do that for so many tickets. So that is limited. That coupon code is limited to 10 spots. So grab them while you can. Let's go ahead and talk about that lineup. Then I'll talk about the local comedy scene. Since I'm on the subject, the lineup for the comedy show was handpicked by me. And there are specific reasons for that. And I want to share them with you because I love it. So I'm getting to my page here, getting to the official event page on heavyheadsrecords.com. And that's where you can find this information about the comics. But let's go from our host all the way up to our headliner here. And I'll just kind of tell you a little bit about them all. Robin Humphrey is the host, and he learned about comedy. He actually has worked on some cruise ships, so he was doing audio for some comedians on cruise ships and learned about comedy, started writing some jokes, and decided he wants to pursue comedy himself. And I think that's a good idea because he's a funny dude. We've had some cool comedic experiences together. He and I traveled and went to Austin together, and hopefully I can get him on. We were supposed to have a podcast episode about that, and I've kind of dropped the ball. So I apologize, Robin. Things have been crazy. Even this podcast episode I'm just doing on a whim because I had a little time. So anyway, Robin, super dope, super cool guy. Next up, Kevin Lowry. Why did I pick Kevin to open the whole show and as our first comedian? And the reason I would have to say I picked Kevin first and foremost would be his fashion sense. Kevin Lowry has got amazing fashion sense. If you see him, chances are he's going to be wearing a really cool knit sweater that's maybe it seems like a half size too big for him, which is pretty cool. And he also wears gold chains and stuff too. I want to say I've seen him in a turtleneck, but that could be the Mandela effect. So he'll have to confirm that. But dude's got excellent fashion sense. He'll throw on a pair of shades with him or with his outfit sometimes, or he'll wear a cool graphic band tee. And the guy backs it up. Not only does he rock this stuff, but he backs it up. I'll give you an example. I was over at the checking out the Moxie. Well, shoot, how do you talk about that? Not the Moxie. I was checking out Moxie with a Y. Let's talk about the Moxie though. Check that place out. Independent Theater, Springfield, downtown Springfield, Missouri. The original Moxie in Springfield. Okay, that I know of. Maybe there was a Moxie in the 20s. Who knows? Anyway, we were going to check it out. Finally, going up to the top, all that stuff, to look down on the people at Vantage. Finally, I'm kidding. Anyway, and out of nowhere, smoke hanging out of his mouth. Kevin Lowry just walks up to me, and he's like, "Hey, man, what's up?" So that's this dude's vibe. If you like guys with good fashion sense that wear cool chains, that just walk up to you out of nowhere with a smoke hanging out of their mouth, Kevin Lowry. And that's basically his style of humor too. So I'll leave that to you. If you disagree, leave it in the comments. And Kevin, if you disagree, let's do an episode together. Let's talk about your style of humor. Hopefully we'll be, getting some guests on here too. Or not. I love hearing my voice just fine. I'm just kidding. That's a defense mechanism. Okay. Me, I'm the next comedian on the show. And what did I write here? I wrote, my comedy style comes from a broken home. I traded 2 turntables for a microphone. Ooh, that's kind of quirky, funny. So my style, man, I like to be honest. My background is crazy, strange, had a crazy life. And I like to talk about that, and I've been fortunate enough to kind of straighten things out. My life's been crazy, but I've made a lot of moves in my life and just had a lot of things happen that I've been able to turn things around and straighten things out. But because of that, I miss the past sometimes. And I don't know. I like to bring that with me on stage. I like to talk about some of that trauma I grew up in. I like to make fun of some of the things that have affected me in my life, because I think a lot of people relate to that kind of stuff. I don't want to say too much, just in case somebody wants to use it against me or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I just, if you want to use it against me, buy a ticket, come to the show, do it the right way. But yeah, I just love making fun of stuff, and coming out of the ashes. That's what comedy's about to me, and I'll be honest with you, man, for a long time, I had some things happen in my life where I lost my sense of humor, and I lost my ability to joke about the negativity in my life. And I can tell you that when you get to that point, it is not a good place to be. And that's why I tell people truly, man, that music saved my life the first time, comedy saved my life the second time. And I can go on about that later on, but it really does mean a lot. It means a lot to have a place to go and to share my art with people. It's a platform where you can get to know me, where I can get to know you, and I can be myself and let you kind of get to know me. I realized that not a lot of people actually know me. They just have maybe some conceptions about me, preconceived notions and things like that. And they don't, I don't know a lot of you. Let's be real. I mean, I see what you show on Facebook, but how many below surface level conversations have we actually had? And that's partially my fault, and that's partially because Springfield's weird, and we treat each other weird sometimes, and maybe we'll get into some of that in other podcasts or later on. But yeah. There is more of a depth there, and I'm glad to be able to talk about it with you. So obviously I'm booking myself on my own show. It's one of the ways that I like to get stage time. I believe I've got a decent, I can work with a decent 10 to 12. I get laughs, 10 to 15, excuse me. I get laughs. So next on the list after me is going to be Jessie Ann Shearer. And she's done lots of opening spots at the Blue Room. She's done some host spots and all that kind of stuff over there. And, she's perfect for this show. She's got dark humor. She's really, really funny. When she's on one, when it's just one of those nights, and when she's just, I don't know how to explain it, but when she's kind of just freestyling, feeling it, feeling herself, it can be magical. So it is magical. So she's going to be great for it, and she's been a real supportive comic since I've been around. Always quick with the fist bump. Occasionally she'll throw a compliment my way on a set. It's really cool. And the reason that's important in the comedy scene is because it's not going to happen unless you're really doing something. And that's by design, that's by necessity in the comedy scene. Because if everybody goes around telling each other how great they are when they're not really that great, your comedy scene's going to suffer. So I appreciate that, actually. I don't want somebody telling me I'm doing good when I'm not doing good. So, and other comics don't really do that unless they want something from you. But, anyway, she's just been fun to work with, and she's hilarious. I can't wait to have her on the show. Maybe this show too, who knows? And then, of course, our headliner, Corbin LeMaster. Let's talk about Corbin real quick. This dude, really cool guy, really supportive. I don't know Corbin that well. I wish I knew him better, but again, he's done all the things. I've gotten the fist bumps, I've gotten the nods. He was gracious enough to take this spot. I don't know if you guys know this. Maybe you've seen him at the Galois when he performed here, but he tours with Mark Normand. And if you don't know who Mark Normand is, I don't know why you're listening to me still. Mark Normand is, touring the country, selling out theaters. He had a huge crowd at the Galois when he was here, and Corbin opened for him here. And Corbin's been all over the country with this guy, and he doesn't have to do this show. Just straight up, does not have to do this show. But he's doing it for the love of the game. He loves comedy. I think he likes the concept of the show. He's headlining. And to me, that's what this show is about, too. It's not just about putting on a cool comedy show or making money. We're selling tickets to pay for the show and to pay the talent. Speaking of that, any comedian who is working with me is going to get paid. Flat out. I'm not messing around. I'm not trying to hold stage time over your head. If I think you're good, I put you on a show, you're getting paid. So, that being said, Corbin doesn't need my money, okay? But I love that about him, because he's an artist. That's why Corbin's doing what he's doing. And that's why I'm telling you this, is to maybe inspire some other people instead of, one of my biggest things, don't hate, appreciate, right? So he's doing what he's doing because he's an artist. He's a true artist. And the way you know that is because he's doing it for the art. He's doing this show for the art form. Period. So yeah, I think it's great. I'm very grateful for him being there and wanting to do it. And you really should check him out. And of course, check out Mark Normand if you don't know who he is. And you won't be disappointed. Guaranteed. So yeah, that being said, $20 is a bargain. With that coupon code, if you forgot it, I'll go ahead and tell you again. It is, and I got to look it up again. Oh, because I'm just that good, right? Coupon code PODSCARE, PODSCARE. That's going to get you $5 off tickets for that event. So you can come see Corbin LeMaster headline this show for only $15. And I'm going to say this too, you're going to get to preview this venue, right? So you're going to get to come tour the historic morgue in Ozark, during the month of Halloween, on top of going to this thing. And I'm going to be doing some other prizes too and stuff like that as we go along. Just trust me. Buy your tickets. Take the ride. So yeah, there's the lineup for the comedy show. I'm totally looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a really good time. And I don't see how it can't be with that lineup. And I'll say something too. There's a lot of parallels. Maybe I'll do a show about this or an episode about this. But there's a lot of parallels between DJing and comedy. So one of those, is a comedy lineup is kind of like a set list. The comedians are kind of like songs that you have to put in a certain order for them to flow together, to understand the transitions, etc. So there's a level that a lot of people don't talk about or think about when it comes to putting on a comedy show. And that being said, I really think that these comedy or these comedians and the order that we're going in makes a whole lot of sense, and we complement each other in ways that should just have everybody losing their minds at the end. So that's the goal. Let loose, have fun, laugh at inappropriate stuff, and just enjoy your night. So grab a ticket. It's going to be fun. And if it's not, then get mad at me, We'll talk about it. But I guarantee you've wasted $15 on something far less cool recently. Be honest with yourself. You know it. I know it. So yeah, let's move on. So the local scene, I've kind of touched on that. There is a lot of support in the local comedy scene. One of the things I was afraid of in the local comedy scene was negativity. Before I got into it, I was afraid of people talking behind people's backs. I was afraid of all the things that happen when groups of people get together. And I'm here to tell you that my fears, were legit. I mean, all that stuff does happen in the scene, but it's like anything else. The good outweighs the bad, and it's how you approach it. And, you got to find your people, just like if you're getting a new job, you're not going to get along with everybody. You're not going to like the way that they do their job versus how you do your job. That's just how things go. So that being said, I think it's important not to sugarcoat the comedy scene, not to tell you, oh yeah, come out, it's going to be great, you're going to love it. If you want to try comedy, everybody's going to be supportive and try to get you stage time, whatever. That's not the way it works. But that's okay. That's by design too. And if you come out and you do it for long enough, you'll understand why it has to work that way. So, but all in all, I have noticed that if you try, if you're funny, if you're consistent, and you're also positive and supportive, that you can have a pretty good time in this scene. And, other comics will want to, mess with you, hang out, do shows, that kind of thing. So, if you're interested in that, come out, try an open mic. If you thought you were funny before, people have told you, hey, you should be a comedian. Well, try it. I can promise too that, any comic that I'm talking good about on this podcast, I've seen them bomb. And before I talk about them bombing, I'm going to tell you, I've bombed a ton of times and they've seen me bomb. And watch a comedy documentary, they're going to talk about bombing. It's part of comedy. And so even the greatest people, even the greatest comics in this town are going to bomb. You're going to bomb too. So come in, maybe you've only got a couple jokes. Cool. You don't have to fill the full 5 minutes. Just come give it a shot. If you feel like it. So now I think, I'll talk a little bit about the places you can go to do that locally. I've kind of got my own rotation, so I'll talk about my rotation. Well, I'm not going as much as I was, but I'll talk about, how you can make it work for you. And of course, this could change. Venues, start doing open mics. They stop doing open mics. So yeah, who knows? But as of now, Monday nights, you can go to Bugsy's on Republic Road, West Republic Road. And that mic starts at 8 o'clock. Sign-ups are at 7. Cool mic. The crowd it's hit and miss, honestly. We usually have a few people to try jokes on. I've seen it absolutely packed to the gills before too. It just depends on what's going on, etc. But it's a cool vibe. That's where, my jokes kind of start, right? Like during a week, if I'm trying some new stuff, that's where I'm really gonna try them out. And that's where they're kind of born, right? So if I do good on Monday, if a joke passes that test, I haven't been in a while. I apologize, Russell. It's nothing against you. Just I'm not down that way as much anymore. Beefy Stool in Joplin is a great comedy open mic night run by Russell Henley, who is a funny comedian, very funny comedian, serious about the craft. He headlined my first show that I produced. So that was a really cool moment. And, but yeah, he runs a cool open mic down there. The crowd's really cool. They love it. The crowd loves it down there. I got a lot of my first big laughs in that room, and that kind of kept me going on my journey. So I would definitely recommend checking out Bites and Pipes, the open mic down there Tuesday nights. Russell's brand is Beefy Stool Comedy, so check that out on all the socials if you can. Moving forward, let's talk about Wednesday nights. That's a new mic at a new venue. There was a little bit of stuff going on where we had to bring an open mic over to C Street for a couple weeks. Lindbergh's let us in for a couple weeks, which I had some of the best sets of my life so far at those mics. So thank you, Lindbergh's. Thank you to the C Street Jam. Thank you to Mike and everybody else. That was really cool. And that actually spawned some conversation, which turned into a Wednesday night Moon City Pub mic. So we've got we got a new mic on Wednesday nights. Angelica Lopez is the one who's putting that together. She's hosting that mic. She's come onto the comedy scene, funny girl, and just really doing a lot for the scene. Putting in work. Which is important. Like I said, we're all kind of like loose co-workers that don't get paid. That's what comedians are basically doing. You pay your dues. I'll put it that way. So, anyway, Angelica's doing her thing over there. It's really cool. I would suggest anybody check it out. Grateful to have a Wednesday night mic in Springfield, Missouri, and the vibe on C Street, guys. You know the deal. C Street's got a vibe. And it's in Moon City. It's a cool spot, man. It's all about the art, which I appreciate. So, go check that out. Thursday night. Let's talk about Thursday nights. One of my favorite nights for comedy in Springfield, Missouri. Thursday nights, at Corner Pocket Comedy down in Billiards, or down in the corner room of Billiards. The old Blue Room, where the Blue Room started. That's one of the reasons it's my favorite mic. And, it's my favorite. I'll say that. I'll own that. It's just really cool to go in there and perform on a stage where I saw people, such as Dusty Slay, perfect their act, right? So I saw Dusty Slay when he didn't have long hair, and he was coming up with the jokes on his Netflix special, and now I'm on the same stage in the same room, completely different circumstances, but it's still really cool just to feel that vibe. And that being said, the other reason I really, really love and respect that mic are because of the two guys who run that mic. And that's going to be Leighton Flatt and Levi Light. And those guys, they run that mic when that mic won't. They run that mic when Billiards is closed, okay? Levi will take that over to his shop, and he'll provide a an open mic for the comics on holidays, or he'll throw a show. That's over at Foreman's Basement on West College, if you want to check that out. Cool shop, cool vibe there too. I recommend it. So, but those guys, I can't say enough about how consistent they are. And I can say too that those guys, they've inspired me a lot. And this is the first time I've probably talked about it. I don't, it's not like you go around that room and go up to people and say, hey, you inspire me. Sometimes I'll do stuff like that, but it just never has come up. But these guys, Leighton, for his age, the hustle that comes out of this guy is unreal, hats off to Leighton Flatt for his hustle, and just pushing forward and making a name for himself in the comedy scene, man. These guys just get up, hit the road, and have adventures. And I'm really, I don't know, I'm happy for them. It's these guys, it's independent comedy, man. I think that's the spirit that I like. It's independent comedy. Maybe it's a little bit edgier sometimes than what you're going to see like at the Blue Room. Not always, but it's got a feeling, everything's got a vibe. And this place, Corner Pocket, Levi and Leighton have created a vibe. And I like the vibe, they run a tight ship. So, if I've never told you that, guys, if you wind up listening to this, thank you. It's been, one more thing about it. It's been a place where, as I go through the week testing out jokes, Corner Pocket has always been the finisher, right? That's where the rubber meets the road. If the joke works at Corner Pocket, it's worth keeping and working on, right? After I've worked on it all week. If it doesn't work at Corner Pocket, I might shelve it. And work on it later. So it's a really good proving ground, testing ground. Another one I got to talk about, of course, Friday and Saturday typically reserved for shows. But another open mic I want to talk about is, of course, at the Blue Room. Springfield's, dare I say, mecca for comedy. I've got I was a fly on the wall during the whole time that the original Blue Room was being built. I saw all the phases it went through. I was lucky enough. I've known Chris for a long time, so I saw a lot of the early stages of this Blue Room. And maybe I'll talk about that at some point too. Gosh, there's so many ideas. I love it because a lot of you know me. I don't stop talking sometimes. I apologize. Hopefully this will help. But yeah. So we got the mic at the Blue Room, and that's on Sunday nights. It's in the baby Blue Room, which is kind of cool. It's a little offshoot room. It's got little tables and chairs. It's designed to be a more intimate night because let's face it, we're not drawing a crowd big enough to pack the big room in the Blue Room for open mic. However, I think it'd be really, really cool if somehow we could showcase our local talent, at a level that we're not doing at the Blue Room. This isn't me calling Chris out or anything like that, but this is me, throwing an idea out there because, again, we've got so much talent that just doesn't have an outlet in this town, that doesn't have a stage. That's another reason I'm throwing shows. Not that these people don't have an outlet or stage, but, a lot of funny people don't always get the stage time they deserve. That's what I'm saying. So, but yeah, the open mic at the Blue Room is a great mic too. They also bring out a decent crowd as far as, just people that want to be there and see comedians work on their craft, come up with new jokes, polish new jokes, or fail. That's okay. If you love seeing comics fail, come to an open mic. That's part of it. It's like going to see NASCAR and seeing them crash. That's part of NASCAR. It's like going to a hockey rink and seeing the fights break out. That's part of hockey, man. Come watch a comic fall flat on their face, and hear a silence like you've never heard silence before. The silence when a joke bombs while you're on stage, that is probably the loudest silence you're ever going to hear. So come witness that. But then do me a favor. Do all the comedians a favor in this town. If you're going to come witness us fail, which we certainly will, come witness a comedian who failed one week and then comes back a week or two later and then just simply crushes it. Okay? That's when you really start to understand what comedy is about, independent comedy, open mics, and all that. It's a storyline. It's really cool. You'll see some people that you don't think are funny, that you don't think have a chance. They'll get mad, or you won't see them for a minute. They'll come back with a brand new set, and they'll just destroy a room, in a good way. And, I guess it's something you have to be into. Not everybody's into that. Some people like to go drink and paint pictures, but for me, it's comedy. I really enjoy it. So I've talked about a lot of stuff having to do with comedy. I don't know that I've got much more to add to it. Other than I can probably shout a couple names real quick. I'd like for you to check out, of course, Josh Wingo is a name that comes to mind. Check him out on Instagram. We've lost some great comedians to Austin. They've gone down to Austin, but I have no doubt that they're far better than they were when they left. And still follow them. Who knows? Maybe they'll pop up on Kill Tony or who knows what's going to happen with these guys. We've got a level of talent that can do all that stuff. These guys are the real deal, for real. So Josh Wingo, Carter Fancook's another one. Who else did we lose to Austin? Of course, of course, Corbin LeMaster, he's in Austin as well. We got John Horner. I didn't really know John, but he's been on Kill Tony a couple times, and he's a Springfield comedian. The reason I didn't know John, it's kind of like, it's honestly kind of like school. There's different classes. There's different people who came in at certain times, and, they kind of class up. They kind of hang out together because they went through the struggle at the same time. So he was before my time in Springfield. And so, he's moved to Austin. Check him out. He's been on Kill Tony a couple times. And then, of course, locally, and I say locally because they hang out here. They're doing all kinds of stuff. But Derek Luna is another one of my favorite comedians here in Springfield. I've actually gotten to work with him, which was amazing. We did a show at the Eagles Lodge in Ozark with a guy named Dan West from Indiana. I want to give you a shout out too, and check him out on all the socials. But Derek Luna, I've seen him for years, and it was cool to be able to work with him and be on a show with him. He's one of those people that inspires me to just do good work. That's what I can say about Derek Luna is he really, really cares about his craft. He really, really cares what he puts out there. His stuff is super tight. He's been working on it a long time. And, props to Derek. I'm a fan. So, check him out. Who else am I missing here? Augie Hafoka. You're not going to you may hear that name, but, he's killing it in the underground scene right now. And he has been for a long time. He goes on shows out of town, stuff like that. He's a riot. He's insane. Come check him out. I mentioned Russell Henley before, and forgive me, guys, my memory is not the greatest. If I miss you this time, I'll get you next time. Harrison Broadstreet is doing all kinds of stuff, touring, responsible for a lot of Don't Tell shows in Springfield. Yeah, great dude. Man, who else? So another one you could check out would be Eric Paulson. He goes by EP in the scene. He's absolutely hilarious. He's been on a couple of my shows. Very, very funny guy. So you could check him out. Another one, Katie Still. She's been on a couple of my shows. Very funny female comedian. I love her sense of humor, and I always enjoy one of her sets. So make sure to check her out. Giovanna, I don't remember your last name, and I'm sorry. She's been doing it for a long time. Very funny. Been on a lot of shows. There's just so many people locally. Justin, I'm looking through our chat. There's a guy named Justin. He's pretty active in the scene right now. Braden Jones, he's been on some shows with me as well. Check him out. Let's see. There's a woman named Selena, very funny female comedian. We got Jeremiah Gill. We got Ryan Shields. We got Shad. We got Toby. Toby Sanchez. I think. No, that's not right. I graduated high school with a guy named Toby Sanchez. He's a big guy, man. Come out and see him. You'll never forget him. Big red-headed Viking-looking dude. So yeah. Lots of comedians. Like I said, if I forgot you, if I missed you, I'm so sorry. I'm sure you understand. I'll try to get you next time. Or tell me and let's get you on the actual show. Anyway, the whole point behind all that is we got a cool comedy scene, guys. I've been to Austin, and I can tell you that quality-wise, we don't have as many comics as Austin. We don't. Okay, but quality-wise, we have the same percentage of funny comedians that Austin does have. I really hope that if you listen to this, especially if you got this far, that you got something out of it. The coupon code is PODSCARE, PODSCARE. Make sure you grab those tickets to the comedy show if you'd like to show up. I think it'd be awesome. You get $5 off. Try to download the app, the Heavy Heads Records app. You can get that on iPhone or Android. Just go to their respective stores, type in Heavy Heads Records. You'll find it. That's where my new stuff shows up. Check that out. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and the other socials, specifically at Heavy Heads Records 417 on Instagram. Also, at DJ Valence on Instagram. That's my personal account, but feel free to follow me there if you'd like to. I talk a little bit more about things I'm doing and not so much about physical media, vinyl, whatever. So check those out. Try to find the comics I talked about. Check them out as well. And check out my other podcasts whenever they come out. I'm not putting myself on any kind of schedule. I'm going to try to get these out when I can, but I know myself. And I know if I say once a week, we'll see. It's probably not going to happen once a week. So, but I will try to create some kind of traction with this. And, maybe that'll help if I get some responses from you, some comments, some things you want me to talk about. I'd love to have some talking points and some help with that. So, leave a message in the comments. You can email me at heavyheads417@gmail.com, and I'll see them there. Yeah. Let's do this together. Let's talk about this and, talk about local art, talk about physical media, talk about nerdy stuff. Have some guests. Let's do it all. Thanks for checking this out. I'm done. I'll catch you next time.